Hey everyone, and welcome back to this class, the NumPy stack in Python. In this lecture we are going to be looking at Matplotlib. Matplotlib, as its name suggests, is for making plots. So we already learned how to represent data and how to load data in from a file. That's NumPy and Pandas. The next step is looking at data visually, so that's Matplotlib. The first thing we'll look at is the line chart. The line chart isn't strictly for lines, but it takes in a set of XY coordinates and plots them, and each pair is connected to the next by a line. So for example, we can plot things like sine waves or the quadratic function. Let's start by importing Matplotlib. Let's first create the data points for the x-axis. So linspace is another way of generating data that we haven't seen yet. It takes in 3 arguments: the starting point, the ending point, and how many points in between. Next, let's create a sine wave. Remember that this operation is element by element, so it just takes every value in x and applies the sine function to it. Now we can plot the sine wave. Okay, so that's the sine wave. Notice that to actually show the plot, you need to call the show function. That's so you can add other things to the plot before it's actually shown. So let's try that. So we plot xy. Now we can add an x label, call that time. We can add a y label, call that some function of time, and we can add a title, my cool chart, and now we can show the plot. Okay, so this is our new plot, and we added some labels to the chart. One thing you might have noticed is that the chart appears really choppy. It doesn't look like much of a sine wave since there are only 10 points, and you have a straight line joining every point. One thing to remember is that all computation is discrete. Even the pixels on your monitor, you have a finite number of pixels. So if you zoomed in far enough, all you would see is different colored dots. So let's do the same example, but with more points. So x is equal to linspace. So still between 0 and 10, but we're going to have 100 points. Everything else is the same. Okay, so that's much smoother.